Harry Potter, the boy who lived. Or will he? Wait, does that even make grammatic sense? Is grammatic even a word? These are the questions we seek to answer in today's LEGO Game No Death Challenge. Why am I still doing these, you may be asking, dear viewer? That is a very good question, and once I have an answer, I'll be sure to let you know. In the meantime, let's just make another one. Hey guys, and welcome back to Plasmatic Productions. My name is Plasmatic, and the rules for today's challenge are quite simple. If at any point my LEGO character breaks into pieces, I must restart the level I'm playing and give it another shot. So, without any further ado, let's start off our story at number 4 Privet Drive in London. Here we meet Dumbledore, the only man I've ever met who can pull off the combination of that hair, that beard, and those purple robes. I mean, damn, he looks good. He goes down to inspect a pussycat. Oh, but that's not the one he was looking for. Professors McGonagall and Dumbledore are soon joined by the graceful arrival of the BFG, also known as Hagrid. Hagrid offers flowers as an apology for his late arrival, but when that's met with laughter, he ups the ante by offering a baby instead. The baby was born with incredibly poor eyesight, causing him to be fitted with eyeglasses before even leaving the hospital, as seen here. 10 years later, this boy, named Harry Potter, generously uses his magical super speed to help his aunt, uncle, and cousin prepare breakfast. Going to fetch the mail like a good nephew, he finds a letter meant for him, but that uncle of his, Uncle Vernon, tears it up. Not entirely sure why he'd do that, because he seems like a very nice British gentleman with a glorious mustache. His yard is a little strange, though, as it seems to be filled with owls carrying the post. I mean, maybe that's just how they do it in London, I don't know. I'm not sure, though, because when I was studying there, I never got this much mail trying to force its way into my hotel room. I mean, instead of mail, it was just this group of girls that kept trying to break down my door to do very bad things to me every night, but they never made it through. Maybe this owl mail incident is what caused London to reinforce its doors. If so, I sincerely thank them. And I also thank my old pal Matthew for guarding the door every night. Anyway, this causes the happy family to escape into the middle of nowhere, only for them to be ambushed by Hagrid, who had just burrowed his way through the ground all the way from London in order to finally deliver that letter to Harry, telling him that he's a wizard. You're a wizard, Harry. I can't do the accent, I'm sorry. I mean, Harry already knew that he was a wizard because he'd been using his super speed to help set the table for seemingly years, but maybe he just thought he was a metahuman like the Flash or something. If he knew who the Flash was, if that's made it over there in London. I don't know. Anyway, now that Harry's old enough, he has to be sent to wizard school, so Hagrid takes him to buy school supplies in London. They start their journey in the local pub, known only to wizards, called the Leaky Cauldron. In his joy, Harry starts doing forward rolls into the table and everything else in sight. Thankfully, this doesn't do him any damage, instead rewarding him with money from all the things that he headbutts. After watching Harry destroy most of the pub, Harry wants in on all the fun too, so he whips out his pink umbrella and starts shooting sparks out of the end of it while also casually abusing the patrons of the place. But we show the worth of destroying furniture when reassembling some of the pieces leads to the construction of a portrait. The picture rewards us with a Gryffindor house crest, a collectible in this game, which we happily take before heading out into the back lot, where Hagrid opens up the entrance to Diagon Alley. Or Diagon Alley. There's some puns. It works better when you see it written out. A wizard-only settlement filled with all the shops you could possibly need. We did our due diligence by waving to a shopkeeper who rewarded us with another house crest. Despite briefly getting our heads stuck in a barrel and saving a student trapped up on an awning, little happens of note on our way down the alley to the wizarding bank, Gringotts. We collect the spider, daisies, and popsicle that we need to make this explosive weapon and head onto the bank, only to be met with a bunch of anti-Semitic stereotypes. We head down into the bank vault and Harry discovers that his parents had amassed a small fortune and entrusted it all to him before they tragically died. So what do? We go on a spending spree. I mean, first we pick up this little package and get a house crest for cleaning the street, but then we go spend our money to get ourselves a magic wand. Ooh, shiny. And Hagrid spends some more of it to get us an owl and a hat. And now we're ready to really be Harry Potter, the wizard, philosopher, sorcerer, stone. Anyway, Hagrid promptly ditches us but gives us a train ticket that says platform 9 3/4. Amidst the confusion, these twin gingers, Fred and George, come out of nowhere, and alongside their older brother, Percy the Pompous, demonstrate how to access the platform. Their younger brother tries to do it too, but like everything else he tries to do, he fails embarrassingly. Meet Ron, who lets us go in front of him but promptly crashes into us, breaking those glasses we've had since birth. He claims he can fix them but ends up giving this man a very slimy hat. Before we can get too mad at him, though, this girl comes along and fixes them for us, saving our blossoming friendship. The train arrives at Hogsmeade Station, where we're greeted by Hagrid, who leads us across the Great Lake to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Entering the Great Hall, we learn that the school divides their first-year students into 4 categories on the very first day. The Hogwarts house that you're put into is not only permanent, but also dependent on how this one hat perceives your personality at age 11. The students then spend the rest of their 7 years at Hogwarts dealing with the stereotypes that come with each house. Even by boarding school standards, that seems harsh. Anyway, the game pretty much only tells you about 2 of the houses to start with. There's the red and gold lion one called Gryffindor, and then there's the green and silver snake one called Slytherin. They make it pretty clear that Ron, the good boy, goes to the lion, and that this blonde boy is evil, and he goes to the snake. Wasn't there some fable about the lion and the snake? Or maybe that was the elephant? I don't remember. Any fable enthusiasts out there? Anyway, we wake up the next morning in our new dorm room, which has apparently grown so many cobwebs overnight that the door to our room won't even open without us having to shoot sparks at them. We explore the common room, finding a Gryffindor boy behind the couch, and trying to make our way out the door to get to our first class of the day. But the drawers have other ideas, forcing us to shoot the pants off a painting in order to get the drawer to move. Hogwarts is quite the labyrinth, but fortunately, we have our ghost buddy here to guide us. Unfortunately, he seems to forget the fact that we cannot fly, so we have to find a way to change the orientation of this moving stairwell. We find this little tube up here and kindly ask Ron to release his pet rat Scabbers from somewhere inside his robes. Yikes. And use the rat to push this button, which rings this bell, causing a 3-headed dog to yell out from inside the room, spooking this guy in the portrait, making him run all the way down to an empty portrait on the landing. We ask him to move the staircase for us, and we're on our way. We follow the ghost all the way to this classroom here for our very first class at Hogwarts. The charmless professor, Professor Flitwick, wonderfully teaches the power of levitation and asks our good friend Ron to give it a go for the class. Ron proves that his magical power is so much stronger than anyone ever knew. Crap, sorry, I'm talking too fast. I should slow down a bit, but I'm not going to do that, right? Because this video is already too long. Anyway, so Ron accidentally levitates these 3 students into the air and spins them around, getting them stuck on the light fixtures. We use our new powers of levitation labeled under the incantation Wingardium Leviosa. Be careful, it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. Ron atones for his errors by saving all 3 students single-handedly, proving right off the bat that Hogwarts lessons are way more hands-on than your standard public school education. Especially since mine was virtual. We use our newfound ability to make objects fly to open up this gate that leads to the big dining hall, which does make me wonder if no one's had a bite to eat before this point, but anyway. A troll has broken into Hogwarts, and apparently these 2 first-year students are the only people in the whole castle that can encounter it. Since we've had a grand total of 1 lesson so far, this seems like it's going to be a piece of cake. As it turns out, the first thing we need to use is Ron's rat, Scabbers. Ron seems to have lost much of his prowess, or at least his confidence when it comes to levitation, with it taking him a few tries just to stack these boxes. We burn this statue's ass in a moment reminiscent of the time I was in my middle school production of Beauty and the Beast Jr., where I played the ever-famous character of Charles Flogginsworth and got my ass lit on fire by Lumiere while being seduced by Babette. Babette was a feather duster. It's a really weird show. Anyway, we play some golf and follow the troll to the girls' bathroom. See, my school has co-ed bathrooms, but the winners of the last election is forcing us to segregate, so now I have to go to a different floor to pee in the middle of the night, but you know what? That's not the biggest problem with the new policy. Anyway, we transform into girls and go in. That girl who's been hanging around is now trapped in the bathroom. We try to grab its attention by destroying the entire bathroom. He runs after us with his club, but doesn't seem to have great peripheral vision, so we can just hide out in this corner while he passes us by. Eventually, all his smashing leads to some nice levitatable, that works, right? Sure. These levitatable bits of rubble that we can drop on his head. Similarly, once he starts chucking stuff at us, we can throw it right back at him, making him stunned enough to drop his club, which we can then drop right back onto his head. The professors finally show up now that they've gotten the equivalent of 6th graders to handle the mountain troll for him. Turban Man seems awfully pissed about something, but how can I know what? Maybe it's because we killed the other Turban Man and all of his turban goons in our Lego Indiana Jones No Death Challenge. Oh, and now that she's out of danger, we finally learned this girl's name. Hermione Granger. Not Danger. Granger. I kill me. With our golden trio all united and safe from trolls, we head off to our next lesson, another charms class with Professor Flitwick. Here he makes some sort of disco ball and splits up all of these yellow pieces that we need to find with our new spell, Lumos, which lets us create light from the tip of our wand. This light is great for warding off these green tentacle vines, so we get all the pieces and are encouraged to head off on our way. We use our new Lumos ability to get rid of these vines, blocking the potions classroom in the dungeons. Potions Professor Snape teaches us a new potion with 3 brand new ingredients: the spiked flower, the snake tooth, and the skeleton arm. This strength potion lets us use these orange handles that we're going to need in the next few sections. Oh, the Chinese food is here. Yay. I'll do a little bit more first. But first, we have to find the ingredients scattered throughout the room because Snape is a sadistic little fuck and hates organization, which is really an awful combination. We grab this tooth from the mouth of this snake and plop it into the bubbling cauldron, then ask Ron to release the rat from his robes to nab the spiked flower. Harry then spends a full minute destroying the classroom in search of the skeleton arm. No wonder Snape hates Harry so much. Anyway, we drink the potion and pull this orange handle, unlocking the exit to the room, because, oh yeah, Snape locks his students in his classroom until they finish their work. The ghost leads us to a solid wall, so we use our old levitation powers to feed this gargoyle, who opens up the passageway for us. This brings us to our first herbology lesson with Professor Sprout, which I'll continue in a later recording because I should go eat lunch now because I gotta go to my driver's test in a minute, so yeah. Okay, so I just got back from my driver's test. That was so stressful for no real reason, and one of the ladies there was being real nasty, and but the lady I had ended up being very nice, so hats off to Inspector, as she called herself. Anyway, where did we leave off? Oh, right, Professor Sprout and herbology. Sprout shows us these weird plants called Devil's Snare and how to dispatch of them with a stronger form of Lumos, called Lumos Solem. But of course, something has to go wrong, with one of the plants going haywire and capturing Ron. Hermione spends a good 2 minutes destroying everything in this greenhouse looking for something that could help her future husband. Oh yeah, spoilers, sorry. With the greenhouse being so small, you wouldn't think it would take this long, but when your loved one's in danger, sometimes we just can't always see clearly. She ends up getting a handle on it though and saves Ron with a good blast of Lumos Solem. It's a big day for classes, and the trio are heading off to their first and only, I think, flying class. This innocent boy here, Neville, has gotten this crystal ball as a gift from his grandmother, but isn't the best flyer and has to be taken to the hospital wing by the flying coach, Madame Hooch. The evil blonde boy named Draco Malfoy steals the ball and throws it up to one of the evil gargoyles. Fortunately, Harry is a natural prodigy, and not only catches the ball, but gets scouted on the spot to join school sports. On his way to the first game of the season, Harry has to make and drink a strength potion to make this wrecking ball completely destroy this ancient wall of Hogwarts. Makes total sense, right? We fly across this broken bridge and are off to the Quidditch stands. Harry starts off his first game doing pretty well, until he suddenly loses control of his broom. Hermione notices that Professor Snape is muttering under his breath, and so she assumes that Snape's bad-mouthing is disrupting Harry's concentration. She and Ron set off to go ask Snape to, kindly quiet down so Harry can focus again. Hermione demonstrates similar flying skills to Harry at the moment, and fixes the rat tunnels that they've got installed on the side of the Quidditch stands. I'm not entirely sure what happens, but the rat scares off these balls which smash into these pieces, letting us use them to build a staircase. But before using them to get up to the next level, Hermione wants to use them to nab this floating house crest. She fails a number of times, but eventually grabs it and heads on her way. She uses this book that she's always got hanging by her side to decode this impossible-to-understand rune puzzle. I mean, I don't know how she does it. The matching, the patterns. She's just a genius, what can I say? We cause a mean Slytherin boy to fall to his death and make our way to Snape, setting him on fire, letting Harry focus on himself again and find his inner peace, winning the match. It is now Christmas time at Hogwarts, and so everyone got shaved bald, their hair being replaced by Santa hats. and Harry receives an invisibility cloak for the holiday and has some fun trying it out for the first time. Remember all the way at the start of the video when we went to the bank and Hagrid took out a little package? No? Me neither. I recorded the footage for this challenge like 2 weeks ago, and I forgot to write the script. Anyway, we followed Dumbledore into the restricted section of the library, which, by the way, I still don't think should exist. Like, the Wizarding World has the internet, right? So it's all going to be up on there anyway. Might as well help control or guide them through the knowledge. I don't know. Might as well get ahead of the curve. Anyway, this is the first actual challenge of the, challenge. I'm sure you guys have noticed by now that I haven't really mentioned the fact that this is a no-death challenge since the beginning. Well, that's because there's, nothing that can kill you before this point. Except for, falling off some stuff, I think. But you have to really be trying to, jump. These books on the ground have the ability to grab you and kill you almost instantly, which I'd demonstrate, but then I'd be failing the challenge, so instead I'm just going to destroy them by jumping on them. And maybe pick up the pace on my commentary. I plugged my script into a word counter, and it says that what I've written so far is going to take 16 minutes to say, so I think I'm fucked when it comes to the algorithm. Most of my viewers get bored after my intro, but you know what? I'm not going to get all wrapped up in all those analytics right now, so let's just get through the rest of this level. Instead of saying, I don't know... did I say saying or staying? Either way, instead of staying, I don't know... covert, under the invisibility cloak the whole time, we decide to create an explosive potion that blows open this set of double doors because explosives, yay. We enter into this spooky room with a headless horseman and uncover the Rorim Faux Desire. I mean the Mirror of Erised. That joke makes a lot more sense written down, but the mirror shows the deepest desire of whoever looks into it. Ron sees himself as a Quidditch captain with Hermione's love, while Harry sees himself reunited with his deceased parents. Dumbledore catches them, but doesn't punish them, simply asking them to return to their beds. However, the old man does reveal that inside that little package we picked up is this mysterious stone. Perhaps a philosopher's stone? A source? Oh, I get it. It's the title. The next morning, we take a trip to visit our old friend Hagrid, who's been taking care of this injured unicorn. Aww. Taking Draco Malfoy and Hagrid's dog Fang with us, we head into the Forbidden Forest to find what's been hurting the unicorns. We split into 2 groups, with Harry, Draco, and Fang coming across this monster about to kill this unicorn, so Harry shoots red sparks into the air for Hagrid to come find him, while the other 2 run away. This level is another that actually has enemies that can damage us, specifically these giant wasps. They'll continuously spawn until we destroy their hives, so we proceed carefully whenever they're near and wipe them out alongside their entire families. Otherwise, we make it to Harry pretty quickly and keep him safe from harm. For now. And yeah, I kind of skipped over most of that level because the Forbidden Forest levels are my least favorite ones, so the less time I have to spend watching the footage of those, the better. Anyway, for some reason, the trio decide to visit the room with the 3-headed dog from earlier and find the purple turban man running away through a trapdoor and decide to follow him. Ron tries to play some music to calm the dog, but it has the opposite effect, enraging him. Instead, Harry pulls a rubber ducky from this portrait and gives it to one of the dog heads as a distraction, letting us rebuild Turban Man's harp, putting the dog, named Fluffy by the way, which was also the name of my stuffed penguin when I was a kid, to sleep. We jump through the trapdoor and into a giant wad of Devil's Snare. Hermione saves the boys with some quick lumos solems, and we end up in a room filled with flying keys. Fortunately, Harry's a flying prodigy, and quickly finds which key is the correct one. Hint, it's the giant gold one, fitting it into the keyhole. There's a lot of F's in there. We find ourselves in a room full of flying keys, a flying prodigy with finds the key and the fitting it. I'm going crazy, right? Okay. After defeating the enemy chess team guarding the next door with his superior chess skills, Ron trips over a sword and gets left behind, leaving Harry and Hermione to face Turban Man alone. By looking deep into the mirror, the pretty gem ends up magically appearing in Harry's pocket, causing Turban Man to reveal the monster on the other side of his head, Lord Voldemort, the man who killed Harry's parents. Voldemort fires blasts of fire that track us pretty well, causing us to really have to focus in order to dodge these blasts. One of his blasts will be this weird green thing that we can send back at him to stun him. We then have to jump across the lava on the floor in order to reach him to deal some real damage by touching his face with lots of intensity. While Voldemort does knock us down to 2 hearts by the end of the fight, we manage to finish him off without dying, and therefore finish off our entire first year without a single death, making this our very first successful no-death challenge on the channel. Isn't that pathetic?
But let's just celebrate with some of this big load of Birdie Bots every flavor beans. Tune in next week to see me tackle Harry Potter's second year without dying. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I'm sorry that I kind of rushed the second half of the video, but I gotta get this footage off my computer ASAP. Okay, so let me stop dragging this out. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.